It's about goddamn time. The the amount of months that I have been playing only NES games. It's taken me until more than a year to finally switch out of that habit and get straight into a different console. Instead, we're going for the PlayStation 1. English, thank you. From Ubisoft. Oh, God. This feeling of nostalgia is overwhelming my whole entire body. It's tingling my sensations. Molesting my childhood innocence inside. Everything I remember. Oh, yeah, there you go. We're playing Rayman for the PlayStation 1. And just like with most PlayStation 1 games, we have a animated cutscene.
Want to know what's going on? Let me tell you the story of Rayman.
Oh my God, the graphics are a bit low res, but whatever.
In Rayman's world, nature and people live together in peace.
This
The Great Pro Tune provides and
Look at that.
maintains the harmony and balance in the world.
Can't even upgrade the graphics card on that shit.
This apparently can't last. One fateful day, the evil Mr. Dark steals the Great Protoon and defeats Batilla the Fairy as she tries to protect it.
This is fucking rocking out. Pay attention to the explosive smoke.
To gravitate all around it, lose their natural stability.
Did you see it?
Scatter all over the world.
He was in the smoke!
Troublesome, isn't it? And untidy, too. In this now unbalanced world, strange phenomena begin to occur. Freaks and hostile characters appear, capturing every Electoon they can find. They definitely need a hero to save them now! Don't you think? Rayman to the rescue! No problem. Go and free the Electoons, Rayman, and bring back the Great Protoon from its mysterious kidnapper. But will the bad guys let him do it?
You know what, I'm glad I've played the Europe version. I have heard what the American version sounds like, and, well, because that's what I grew up with, it seems a little bit jarring to me to listen to the US. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is my very first game outside of NES. I did say I was going to dabble into other games from other systems. And for the PlayStation 1, we're going to start with one of my very first games I've ever played as a child. Rayman for the PlayStation 1. As you can see down at the bottom there, it's Ubisoft back from 1995. So this game is a year older than me. And it fucking shows. But as much, it's iconic, it cemented itself within the love of fans, including myself, and I love it to death as much as the next person. So I'm really glad I actually got to do this. And in fact, I actually finally managed to get this system working out, because I've been dabbling with this thing for 7 years now. Believe it or not, I've been trying to get this working. I've been using the wrong emulator, but I finally got a proper one, in which it can actually just load up straight off and all the way. Actually, just give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. The game was a little bit too loud for my liking. I forgot to turn down the actual game audio, but that's okay. If it's actually a bit too quiet from what I'm hearing, then I'll be able to turn it back on. But anyway, so here we are. This is a game which, funny enough, I had an original copy, and I think I've lost it, but I got a new one now, which is in my lounge room somewhere. I've never finished the game in my own copy, but not long ago, I say, you know, this is about probably 6 years ago, they released a little mini console that has a few PlayStation games on it, and on there was Rayman, was one of them, and I managed to actually finish that, yeah, on its own little miniature PlayStation, which I also have in its box. So, yeah. It's been a long time. I remember I got as far as World 2, but anyway, as you can see, I've done a little bit of a test right there. I called my profile as, because fuck, I'm just going all nonchalant right here. But I'm really excited for this, because this, as I said, yeah, just a warning right here. There's going to be quite a lot of moments that I'm going to talk a lot about. All like, oh, what do you got? Graphics, as well as the soundtrack in this game. There's one thing I remember from this it was the soundtrack. It was absolutely great. So we're actually going to change our name into something else. There we are. DCK. I know what you're thinking, and it's got nothing to do with what you're thinking. We start with 3 lives. We've got 0%. And yeah, funny enough, they give you... It says options, so it's more like the fucking instructions. X to jump, square to fist. Square to fist. Yes, you saw that. Square to fist. And circle is action. It sounds like there's a bit of innuendos going on within even the instruction booklet. And goddamn, I remember the instruction booklet. Anyway, so... One of my very first games as a child, we're going to start off right here. As our fucking stalker observes from high above. Which technically we actually do control. Right about here. Yeah, we actually control the bad guy before we actually control Rayman. Because this is him looking through the binoculars. So we start off in World 1, the Dream Forest. In our first level, Pink Plant Woods. And how this is all set up is that as soon as you enter in the level... Oh yes, I love the little drums as soon as you select the level. So many memories of this game. I have so many memories, but also so many frustrating memories. Because this game, whilst it looks gorgeous, I mean, look at this. For a 2D platformer back in 1995, this was just... I would still say it's ahead of its time. And you know, that being said, when it came to actually doing this game, there were a few versions what I could have done. There's also... as well as the American version, there was also the Game Boy Advance version, but honestly, no. There's the Game Boy Advance, relatively the same, except the thing zoomed in and everything just looks so horrendous because of how much resolution and the whole graphics card can actually store in. So yeah, no, I'm not going to do the advanced version. I've had some good moments with it too. But there's also, hang on, I'll just say this, there's also a remake called Rayman Redemption, which actually fixes the game. It makes the gameplay a lot more better, and adds a little bit more to the game, because if you've played and finished the game, you'll know that they could have done a little bit better to the ending. But let's just finish this level. So how this works is that there are different segments or parts of the stage. Okay, we'll say this is stage 1 of level 1. World 1-1. Now we're in 1-2. Like so. Depending on the level, it varies to how many stages there are. I suppose depending on how big the stage actually is. If you get a few smaller stages, then you're expected to go through quite a lot of them. But if you've got big stages, then there's probably just going to be a few. So, there's quite a lot of things to explain here. First off, we're going to come up here and go to the magician, and we're going to be doing a little bonus challenge right here. So we actually gave away 10 tings, and we're going to get 10 tings back. These are the little blue things that you actually collect, which as a child I actually thought they were called protoons, but you have the great protoon. In the instruction manual they're referred to as tings. And in these bonus challenges you just want to collect the tings before time runs out, and if you do get a perfect, you get a life, which I call trophies, because they basically look like a trophy, and they got 1. Essentially that's what it means, 1-up. You can also do it again, but you don't get another trophy. Instead you just try and beat the time. It's basically bragging rights, I guess you can say. So with Rayman, it's basically your 2D platformer, and right now all you can do is jump. You can't do anything. Oh, there is another thing that you can do, but we will do that a bit later down the track. But also the gimmick as well is that there are certain trigger points that activate other enemies or obstacles along the way. They become a little bit more prominent for you to see in the later worlds, so just keep an eye on that. You get these, so these enemies are called anti-toons, which I guess they're like Electoons, but evil, of course, and they'll try their best to try and stop Rayman, but not do much, of course. That red P I collected, you probably have noticed, I started with 3 power points, and now I've got 5, so basically it's your upgrade for health. You want to hold on to that son of a bitch as long as you can. As I said, tings. If you get 100 tings, then you get life, basically. You come across this is your checkpoint. Smile for a photo, and there you go. Once he takes the photo, if you die, you'll just spawn back here rather than at the beginning. If you look at the photo, it looks like a fucking... This limbless character, he's got hands, feet, he's holding glasses, and I don't know, I want to say that's a towel, but that's on his shoulder. But he's not wearing anything. He's fucking nude. Whatever. And as for the photographer, I have no idea what he is. You don't actually quite see any distinctive features besides his blonde hair. Kind of almost... It may be the same species as Rayman, to say, but yeah. Now you got these, I guess these are one of the first real enemies you can come across. Well, once you can probably fight back. But there's one thing you can actually do. Wait for him to face to you, press the action button, and then he fucking shits his pants and runs away because of your fucking freakish face. I mean, I'd be running away scared shitless, knowing that there's some limbless fucking freak that's displaying some sort of horrific face. That's his mating call, and I don't want to actually find out what he's going to do with you, and how his mating process is going to happen. But anyway, we're going to avoid all that, and also avoid all these piranhas, which infinitely spawn piranhas as they fucking fly up to the moon. Whenever you see those signs with the exclamation marks, that's basically the end of the stage. Just touch it and you're there. Alright, so here we are. We're going to come across Buttilla the Fairy, which she obviously has a drastic change from Origins, as noted. And yeah, I'll confess with my horny brain, I do like Origins because it's just something, well, you know, you can't really argue with it. Whereas here, yeah, this is a children's game, as opposed to Origins is a children's game, but they kind of let loose with a bit. Anyway, so what happened right there? Buttilla the Fairy gave us a power-up, so we actually now have our first power-up. We can punch things, or as the game suggests, fist. Why the fuck would you have to fist things? So you can basically power attack right here by holding down, well, not holding down, but, well, you can hold down the power attack, as I will. Hold down the power attack, and your fist goes further and further away. Looks not much, but you can actually make it a little bit better. So when you do this, you hit the plum right here, and jump on the plum, and make your way up. And now you can also fight enemies with your fist. That's basically what Rayman's known for, is his fist thing. And I have to say, the series that I've just recently watched, oh, actually, I'll explain a little bit later. So now that we have the fist, most important gimmick is that we have to bust open these cages full of Electoons. And if you want to beat the game, it's mandatory you need to find all the cages throughout every fucking level. Finding all cages can be a bit tricky later on, but as long as you know, yeah, I'll explain the whole gimmick thing along the way once we get to there. So anyway, shit, there's actually a lot of things I want to explain, but I'll get to it later on. One of the things we want to do is that we want to get this plum, we either want this plum in the water, or on the other side, and yeah, it just starts, yeah, it just meshes into this guy's enemies. It only happens towards these enemies right here, and they act as a makeshift platform. We're pretty much invulnerable from here. Oh, by the way, just in case you're wondering, they're pretty much now impervious to the whole scary face thing, but it doesn't matter, because now we have our fist. That's basically what it does. Now, the fist we picked up right up there, I believe that is our speed, so we actually punch faster, like so. It took me a while to figure out what's the difference, because down there we have a gold fist, which, there's the other explanation for it is power, but it doesn't actually have the, it doesn't say power from here. Now, I should mention, of course, water is instant kill if you fall in. Rayman can't swim, not until Rayman 2. So our safest bet is to get the plum into the water, and whatever direction you're facing, the plum will follow through. But be careful when riding the plum, because sometimes you can walk on the plum by a little bit, and you'll still fall in the fucking water as you're meant to jump. So it's just yeah, just keep that in mind. We've got another speed fist, which I don't know if it makes it faster. These enemies right here are a little bit harder than the tall ones because they'll duck. They're actually a little bit smarter, of course. And they're not unfazed by Rayman's scary face. Well, he's, yeah, googleish face. We can also attack the piranha plants, like so. We can't grab things like I'm trying to grab that trophy right there. There's another power-up for that, which will come in later in the game. But yeah, having our fist, it just basically takes off 70% of the game play. It just makes it so much easier right there. There you are. We're not going to get all the cages in this first run, but we will have to backtrack a little bit because there are a few power-ups. Sorry, I'm hearing sirens. Just, the fuck is going on? Sorry, I think there's police sirens outside my street. Well, not my street. There's a street adjacent from it. But anyway, I've been hearing things. We come down here. Watch out for this fucker. He shoots out bullets that have fucking mallets in them. And he actually appears, so each world will have its own sort of theme of enemies. Like for here, we've got these jungle explorers, as you can tell with their big hats. But those guys with the guns, they're pretty much in every fucking stage. And they're quite a nuisance. Also be aware that with those enemies, it's not just them you have to worry about. Sometimes you'll see bullets coming out from off screen, from the left side or right side, out of fucking nowhere. So be sure to duck or jump to avoid those things. If you can. Which, well, you most likely will. If you can't, then yeah. Like I said, just be very careful when you're on the plum. I take my I'm very cautious with this. Like, for example, I could walk and jump, but I'm just going to jump and then move because I don't trust myself. I've fallen off that plum so many times through previous playthroughs that I've had in this game. Yeah. So there is a bit of exploration when it comes to these levels. As you can see, the plum right here, you'll need to access to various areas, or at least get like lives right here, for example. That's inaccessible unless you had the grab power, but I do not. You get this P right here. Like I said, you get a P. Basically, if you've lost a bit of health and you still have 5 points of health, that basically replenishes your whole health. But also grabbing lives or trophies does that too. See, there you go. Fucking bullet comes out of nowhere. There is trigger points. Normally, you can actually see a little sparkle or twinkle that triggers certain obstacles and all that shit. But no. See, that one just came out of nowhere. Although I know exactly where that one's coming from. We just got one more thing that we can do before going off. But like I said, we're not actually going to get everything in this level. By everything as in all cages. When it comes to levels, the only thing you actually need to worry about is just busting 6 cages. There's always 6 cages within every level. So here we have ourselves another bonus. Jump on. The cost requirement to getting into these bonuses is 10. However, the tings that you collect in this game, as you can see, we've got 60 tings. If you manage to get all of them, then you'll end up with the tings that you've collected here. When you start in this stage, make sure you get the one on the left, otherwise the game sort of tricks you thinking that you're actually missing one on the platform. It's one of those ones where there's one right in the beginning and you should have paid closer attention. But luckily the camera kind of fucked itself over and thought, oh shit, I must get my sights on Rayman. Now the players will know. This one can be a little bit hard because the floating platforms really space themselves out. It's very clenched. You almost have to walk right off the platform in order to get to the other side. It can be quite hard. Like this bit right here. I remember I always fucking fell on that one. Ugh. And I'm just oh shit, biting for time. Oh, fuck me, that was close. I had like a second left. 1 second left. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, just in case of it's going to happen, I may have a visitor coming over to my place. If I'm going to keep recording, I may as well. I don't know if I might actually do my first dual commentating, whenever you can actually hear his voice, because this microphone right here can only, pick up so much. I'll probably have to fix that where it can pick up more so in the room, but I think I purposely set it down because there's so much shit that you can hear even from outside. And in most cases there's ambushes involved, so you want to collect a trophy or a cage, and there's going to be fucking enemies that will spawn from behind or in front of you, so just be aware. Get rid of this asshole. And you've noticed with the power of the golden glove, I take on enemies on 1 hit. There's some where it took me 2 hits to bust a cage and 2 hits to knock the guy in the water. And there we are. So this is actually the end of level 1. Like I said, we've got 3 more cages to bust open. We can technically go back. Oh no, we can't actually. Not yet, but it doesn't matter. So once you finish here, I normally come up to here. This is your save area. Whenever you see the magician's hat, I fucking always can't pronounce that very well. Then you can save your game. I remember I could not save this in the original PlayStation 1. It's just because my memory card crapped out on me.